This is Mac from JLPTbootcamp.com with another N4 grammar lesson. Today we're going to talk about how to talk about have to and must or need. And to start the situation, you're with your friend and you just got a new job and you're talking about your responsibilities for your job. And you tell your friend, "Maiasa kaigi ni nakerebanaranai." And your friend responds, "Taihen da." And you respond, "Sore ni itsumo tsumaranai." And so just to break this conversation down, you said "Maiasa" every morning. Kaigi is a meeting. Ni is to. Ikana is the negative form of iku, to go. And then we've chopped off the e, the last e, and added kereba naranai. So I have to go to the meeting every morning. Your friend responds, "Taihen da." So that's serious. That's kind of tough. This is kind of what that means. You respond, "So." And so is like, yeah, that's right. Sore ni is on top of that. It's always, itsumo. Tsumaranai. Tsumaranai is boring. So on top, that's correct. On top of that, it's always boring. And what you used was a form to talk about have to, must, or need to do something. And to form this, you basically just take the negative present tense of a verb, lop off the e, and add kereba naranai. So basically, this structure is kind of the negative conditional. That's the first part. Kereba. Nakereba is kind of the negative conditional. So if not, and then naranai in this situation means it's bad. Something's bad. So if you don't do it, it's bad. In other words, you have to do it because if you don't do it, there's a bad situation. So this is kind of difficult to wrap your head around at first because it's two negatives piled on top of each other to form a positive, basically. And there's actually a lot of these types of structures in Japanese. This is a very common one. And you'll see a lot of different variations of how this is used that we'll go over a little bit later. But let's go over how you probably will see this on the test, actually. You'll see this in the polite form, which is this sentence below. Shinkansen ni noru node kipu o kawa nakereba naremasen. So Shinkansen is the bullet train. Ni is the particle that we use for noru in this situation. So you're kind of like going to ride the Shinkansen is a way of thinking of it. With noru, you need to use ni. And then node is so. Kipu is ticket. And then o is the object marking particle. Kawanai is the negative form of cow, to buy. And then you've lopped off the e and added kereba narimasen. So this is the polite form of the kereba naranai that you see above. And this is probably what you'll see on the N4 exam, this polite form. In conversation, you'll hear the top form. This is a little bit more casual, or some other forms we'll go over in a little bit. There's actually a couple different variations of how to use this. But to continue on let's go over one more structure that has a very similar meaning. And your friend is looking at your suit, and she says, "Suteki na sutsu da ne." And you respond, "Arigato, sutsu o nakutewaikenai da." So your friend first, she says, "Suteki na sutsu da ne." So suteki is stylish. Na is the particle you need to use for na adjectives. Suits is, of course, a suit. Da is just making a declarative sentence. Ne is you're kind of adding a little bit extra emphasis, like, wow, that's a great suit you got there. Taking a look at your sentence, you said arigato, thanks. Sutsu is suit, business suit. O is object marking particle. Kinakute is, so this is, kinai is to not wear. And then you chop off the e and add kutewa. And this kutewa is kind of means if. You're only going to see it in this particular structure, though. You won't see it anywhere else. It's a special if just for this situation. You can think of it as that. So you chop off the E, you add kutewa, and then add Ikenai, which is bad, or, I mean, you can literally kind of think of it as it doesn't go, is how I think of it some way. But has this meaning of bad or dame or that's not good. So if you don't put on this suit, it's bad. So you have to put on this suit. And then you have n, and that's this is kind of a particle that we use to show a reason for something. So your friend tells you that you have a sticky suit, and you're kind of giving a reason why you have this this amazing suit is because you have to wear it. And then da is to declare, make this a little bit stronger statement. And so you used nakutewaikenai. That's used to talk about have to, must, or need as well. Now, it's very similar way of forming it. You just have to change the verb into the negative present tense, chop off the E, add nakutewaikenai for the casual tense. For the polite tense, again, the tense that you'll probably see on the exam, the polite form, I should say, you would look something like this example sentence: Karasu wa ashita desu ka? Kyou wa kono hono yomanakute wa ikimasen. So karasu wa is class. So as for class, ashita is tomorrow, and des is, in this particular sentence, is kind of the be verb. It's is. So class is tomorrow. And this ga can mean but here it's kind of just linking the two sentences together. So it's kind of giving you, you could probably put also no day here. There's class tomorrow, so I have to read this book. But this kind of just links the two sentences in a kind of a soft way, this ga here. It's a little bit of it's tough to get a feel for how this is used, but it's really important to try to understand how this is used at a lower level, because as things get more and more complex, it's easy to forget that this could just have a weak meaning instead of but. Anyway, next word, kyo, is today. As for today, is the wa marking particle. Kono is this. Hon is book. O, object marking particle. Yomanai is the negative form of yomu, to read. And so you take off the E, you add kutewa, and then ikemasen. So altogether you have yomanakute wa ikemasen. So if I don't read this, it doesn't go. So I have to read this book today. Class is tomorrow. So class is tomorrow. I have to read this book today. And so at this point, you're probably wondering what's the difference between nakerebanaranai and nakutewaikenai. And a lot of times these are interchangeable. There isn't a huge difference between the two. However, there's a slight connotation difference. So nakerebanaranai, it's a little stronger, often used with laws or duty. This I've heard it's used more for things that affect a large group of people or everyone. So everyone has to do this particular thing. Whereas nakutewaikenai, it's a little weaker, often used for rules or arrangements, things that could be bent or even broken. Whereas nakerebanaranai, it kind of implies it's more of a law. It's something that you shouldn't really break. You should be doing. So that's why it's a little bit stronger. Again, generally speaking, you're not on the test. You're probably not going to get a question that's going to ask you the difference between these. Should you use nakerebanaranai or nakutewaikenai? So don't worry too much about the differences at this level. Just know that there's a slight connotation difference between the two. Now, if you want to speak a little bit more casually, you can change nakereba to nakya. So, for example, maiasa kaigi ni ikenakya. Or nakute wa changes to nakcha. So, sutsu o kinakcha. The one that I always tend to use is this last one, just negative tense plus 2. So shigoto shinaito is I have to work. I have to work tomorrow or something. And these casual forms you won't see on the N4 probably. Again, nobody knows what's on the test, so but it's a good bet that these won't show up on N4. They'll probably make an appearance on N3 or N2, N1, those different levels, to try to trick you into doing some, answering questions the wrong way or something in the listening section. Because these are only used really in speaking. Of course, sometimes they're written down, for casual speech, chatting, and stuff like that. But generally speaking, this is more of in conversation only, not in written form. So you will hear this. If you hear it anywhere, it'll be in the listening section of the exam. It won't be written anywhere, this casual form. And of course, if you're out and about in speaking real Japanese with real Japanese people, chances are they'll probably use one of these structures to talk about something that they have to do. Now, do you think you have it all covered? We're going to go over a quick pop quiz here. So what is this sentence in Japanese? I need to make today's bento. I need to make today's bento. So that in Japanese would be Kyo no bento o tsukuru nakereba narimasen. So kyo is today, no is the possessive, so today's bento is your boxed lunch, Japanese boxed lunch. O is the object marking particle. Tsukuranai is the negative form of tsukuru, which is to make. And so you just chop off the e, you add kereba narimasen, and you have tsukuru nakereba narimasen. I have to make bento. Next sentence, I have to run every day. I have to run every day. And that in Japanese would be mainichi hashiranakute wa ikimasen. So mainichi, every day. Hashiranai is the negative form of to run. You just lop off the e, you add kute wa, and then ikimasen. You have hashiranakute wa ikimasen altogether. So I have to run every day. The I here is implied. We don't have to state that, of course. Usually watashi wa is dropped in Japanese. We don't have to have it. So again, two different ways to talk about have to or must or need. Actually, there's probably 9 different ways total, but these are 2 common ways, and the kind of the common casual ways would be negative present tense minus the e plus nakerebanaranai. That's a little bit stronger again. Implies for rules or laws or duties that apply to a large group of people or for everyone. And there's nakutewaikenai. Again, this is have to, must to, need to. To form that, you just lop off the e, add nakutewaikenai. And again, this is a little weaker, often used for rules or arrangements, something that you can break. And that's it. That's how you use, how you talk about must to, have to, and need to in Japanese. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you know someone that is studying Japanese or studying for the N4 specifically, I'm sure they would love it if you sent this video along to them, helped them out, and helped them kind of get familiar with this rather difficult grammar point. You can, of course, follow me on Twitter at JLPT Help, or on Facebook. Look for me there, JLPT Bootcamp. or, of course, the website, jlptbootcamp.com. Any of those millions of ways, connect with me. And be sure to hit the subscribe button for more awesome videos. This has been another grammar explanation video from the jlptbootcamp.com premium site. There at the site, you'll find a lot of other extra goodies. For example, all of my guides, including the JLPT Study Guide Kit, which will walk you through how to study for the JLPT, as well as how to build very effective mnemonics so that you can remember kanji and vocabulary the first time you see it. I also walk through how to formulate a good test-taking strategy so you know what units, what sections of the test to focus on to maximize your points and get the best possible score that you deserve. In addition to that kit, I also have grammar guides for the N5 and N4 levels. In those guides, I go over some common mistakes that people make, example test questions, extra practice with grammar points, lots of great stuff. That's available at jlptbootcamp.com/premium. I hope to see you very soon at the premium site. This has been Mac from jlptbootcamp.com.